and with Councilman Winton, and roughly 30% of of our annual income for these roads will be used in this purchase of the bonds, or the amount anyway. But he was saying that interest rates being as low as they are make this more appealing, and that there will be a savings to our general fund and other bonds because regarding island lakes and stuff of roughly $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
My math was, here's what we spent. He gave us the spreadsheet that showed what we spend on those discretionary projects in 1920 and what's estimated for 21, and then the amount of Act 51 revenue that would be available in 22, and it's 30 to 40% of what we had been spending. So in my mind, that means we're doing a third of those discretionary projects. I'm not saying that's bad, and if this is necessary, it is what it is, but I'm trying to wrap my head around trading 70% of those discretionary projects for 5.7 miles of road.
Same boat.
That said, I don't want to see those things diminish to the point where they're not travelable, because as the mayor said, we all use them on a regular basis.
Right. Sorry about that, Alan. Go ahead.
No problem. So our core report basically, the leader of our lab department conducted this report, and basically you're looking at 3 to 4 years of life left in there for both roads. If you try to mill and cap and do a recondition of the asphalt, it's not going to last very long. It's a Band-Aid basically. So what we found through the cores is there's about 8 or 9 inches of concrete below the asphalt, which is in pretty good shape. There's some reflective cracking, but those can be repaired and joint sealed and crack sealed, similar to how we did Goddard. The result is going to be like the Goddard in front of City Hall. But that approach is not removing all of the concrete, which is a huge expense. You can picture 9 inches of concrete and then 5 inches of asphalt on top of that. That's a huge expense. We found that the concrete's in pretty good shape in the various locations that we cored. So our approach is to preserve that concrete, crack seal, joint repairs, and then put a 2-inch HMA crack relief layer. This is a new MDOT standard for highways that's been proven. It hasn't been used in the city yet. So that'll be 2 inches on top of the concrete. And then on top of that, another 2 inches of HMA asphalt, and then a final lift of 1.5 inch. So you're gonna end up with 5.5 inches total of HMA over good repaired, reconditioned concrete.
So, okay, I was confused then. So we are leaving the concrete and we're adding to it.
Yes.
And that's part of the $24 million project, is leaving the concrete.
Well, some will be repaired, correct, Alan? Yes, that's correct. So once we mill off all the asphalt, we'll determine which areas need repair, and the joint repairs also, but at that time, we can assess that. But okay, we're pretty sure. We've done the Goddard roads. Goddard roads is very similar, so we have that data, we have the core samples, so we're pretty confident going into that.
Alan, I got a quick question regarding, totally went blank here, I'm sorry. Let me regroup here for a minute.
You're not as old as me.
No, I'm telling you, it's just one of those days. Go ahead, Charlie, it'll pop back.
I make people forget you.
It's just, we gotta wait for the pistons to start firing.
Of the major roads in Taylor, are the other ones in fairly decent shape compared to these?
Well, we didn't assess those when Greg Mayhew was here.
Administration?
Mr. Chairman, as you guys know, every 2 years we are required to conduct the PASER rating, which you can go online and see. But if you recall, Beach Daily, we started resurfacing from Pennsylvania, and I think we're finally now down to Wick. No, I'm sorry. Are we past Wick now?
Yeah, Wick.
Okay, we're at Wick. So we've got a couple more lane miles of Beach Daily to do. Pardee will obviously be addressed in this, assuming it gets approved. Goddard will be addressed in this. Wick Road will probably be one of the ones. We've done a little bit of repairs from Morton View to Pelham this past summer. But there's a couple of other sections. But I think most of the major roads that are city roads are in pretty good shape. That's always the confusion though, because there are roads in the city that are in really bad shape, such as E-course. But that is a county road and it is county responsibility. So, we will be obligated to participate in the case where they do the, Alan, help me, what's the FAC, yeah, I'm sorry, the FAC program, where that's an 80-20 match. So if the county comes in and resurfaces E-course Road, we will be responsible for 20% of that match. But I think most of the major roads in the city are in pretty good shape.
So, this isn't gonna affect local roads at all. We still have that budget, correct?
No, Mr. Chairman, this could potentially, I mean, we are committing a significant amount of money to these two roads. It could potentially limit the local road construction. However, talking to the state, they continue to tell us that the Act 51 dollars are going to increase, not decrease, yet, you know, we've yet to see that happen. So, we think that, you know, 25% of the city is also in a TIF district, so, you know, there is the TIF budget that will be responsible for those roads that sit in those districts as well. So, you know, we think through the years that leading up to this, that we've done a fair amount of work to the local roads, that we're in pretty good shape, but there are still some sections that are in, you know, some much needed repair.
I agree, and that was going to be one of the things that, you know, this is the first step in a few steps of this process, but I think that's one thing that we can possibly use to offset this is to start using TIFA money in TIFA districts on roads in those districts.
And I believe we have. We've repaired a lot of roads with TIFA funds. Pardee and Racker Road and Howland Road. So I think we've done that. And then over with Trolley Industrial, is it?
Yeah, Breast Road.
Trolley,
yeah. Mr. Chairman, that's the challenge that we have with the TIF district is they don't really encompass many neighborhoods.
Right.
And that's where we still have a lot of problems. I mean, to give you an example, in the south end, Kirsten, it's probably beyond repair at this point in time. We're probably looking at a complete tear out. We had it on the radar to do it this summer. The problem is with COVID, we were almost paralyzed for much of the summer trying to get contractors out here to do any kind of work. We had a significant amount of work teed up in the Taylor Parks neighborhood that we did not get to just purely because of availability of contractors, or lack of availability, I should say.
Okay. And just one more thing, I finally popped in. The $24 million, that's just a rough estimate as of right now. So when everything gets done, there'll be almost an exact amount brought to us when we vote to decide whether
Correct.
we want to go out for the bonds, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And in the email that I sent you guys, Mr. Chairman, there was a breakdown of Hennessy's cost analysis, and if I remember right, it was somewhere around 20 million. It did not include Pardee Road from E-course to Beverly. That part was not in our original analysis, but it is on the major road map, and we do feel that it's time to do it if we're there doing all the roads. So we did add a little bit to include that. There's some sidewalk work that we will attempt to do where the right-of-ways permit us to do so, and I think there's a